encounter number 2 of the Mythos Tales, we're doing Flesh and Blood. That looks like a... I feel like this is going to be the Reanimator story. Zombies. Because, I mean, zombies.
Not
Good.
zombies.
Not zombies. Boom. So this one also introduces the requirement rule for people watching at home. If we occasionally might get cards that are just basically just passes that are... It could be anything. It could be a key. Blah, blah, blah. It allows us to get further into encounters. They also could be negative. Metanos, thank you so much for the cheer. Dropping a bit in there. We appreciate it. Flesh and Blood, Investigation 2, Arkham, August 8th, 1929. On a wet August morning, you step into the office of Professor Henry Armitage in Miskatonic University's renowned Orne Library. Dalen, thanks again. Oh, that's three bits on that one. We appreciate it. You're surprised to find no one waiting for you, because he fucked off. It was only this morning they received his call, and you've never known him to be late or miss an appointment. You spent a few minutes watering Armitage's violets. Forgive my late arrival, Armitage's voice rings out from the hallway. Please don't think I take your assistance for granted. It's been an eventful morning. His arrival does not assuage your anxiety. Late and apologetic, something is amiss. He hands you today's copy of the Arkham Advertiser, which Travis is currently reading. You catch the headline, Night Watchman Found Dead at Miskatonic. Yeah, there it is right there. Is he Googling something? Are you Googling something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The old man wipes the dirt and leaves from his shoes. 3 years ago, there was an attempt to steal a very dangerous book from the restricted section of the library, the Necronomicon. The theft was prevented, but it was clear that the more security was required. So it was stolen by Ashcan Pete, Jenny Barnes, and Rex Murphy, right? That's what it was stolen from it? You think whoever killed the Watchman stole this book, you ask? Before we get to that, there are several details about the murder the papers leave out. Unpleasant details. Armitage closes the office door. The corpse was left in a rather grisly state. The attacker removed the victim's skin and his blood? Your anxiety grows into an icy dread. That's insane. It made perfect sense to someone last night. Armitage shakes his head. This morning I informed a mother and father that someone left their son a mutilated corpse and he had not worked here long. You know, I have witnessed so many unspeakable, horrific things, but that, Armitage struggles for the words. You reach over and place a comforting hand on Armitage's shoulder.
Man, being a watchman at the library is a real shit job.
Yeah.
Because the one in like the Dunwich Horror died, and the one in the Arkham LCG, I mean, he didn't die because he was with us,
but he could die, yeah.
And then this guy died. No wonder they're always new.
In my head, in the meta, this is the guy that we killed because he got eaten by that one person. Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm going with.
Oh, yeah.
There's something else you need to see. Make sure your shoes are clean and follow me. You wipe the mud from your shoes and accompany the old man down the hall to the restricted section of the library. As you do, you see a distinct trail of dried earth running along the floor. Was this from our killer? Indeed, Armitage stops at the door bearing the sign that reads restricted, no entry. The trail of mud goes further. When I arrived this morning, the watchman's keys were in the lock and this door was open. The watchman's keys, however, will only open the outer door to the restricted area. Armitage unlocks the outer door and switches on the lights to illuminate the overstuffed shelves in the windowless room. A second door within the restricted section provides further protection for the Necronomicon. Armitage glances in its direction. And oddly, the Necronomicon is in a foul mood today. One would think it would be excited. The trail of mud does not cross the threshold of the room. Yes, one would think, you mutter. You are not sure if Armitage is serious when he speaks of the Necronomicon's moods, but you've grown accustomed to his odd manner of expression. You glance quizzically around the room. He unlocked the door but didn't come inside. It's very telling, Armitage points at the inside of the door's jamb, where there are a series of occult protection symbols etched into the wood. As I said, more security was required. The fact that the intruder couldn't pass this door with those symbols protection suggests that it was something other than human. Whatever it is, I believe it will grow more desperate as a result of this failure. Armitage closes the door and locks it. As the two of you walk to the library exit, well, the four of us, he says, we must find out what this creature is, what its motivations and intentions are, and most importantly, how to stop it. Inspector Garrison and his men have collected the evidence from the crime scene and turned it over to Dr. Corbett. He may have uncovered something, and as much as I hate to admit it, there is someone else who might have knowledge on this creature. I won't mention the scoundrel's name, the occult expert, that's Pascal. You have proven yourself to be quite resourceful. You will figure it out, but be careful. We shall work independently. Time is not on our side.
Yeah, fuck you too, Armitage.
Armitage holds the front door open for you, letting a hard wind into the library, and it begins anew. I think Armitage hates you guys and is doing his best to get you guys kills, reinvestigating things he's already did. I agree to Staminite. He's just trying to get rid of us.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. He comes with us to a problem, and what happens is Travis is reading the newspaper, Bryn wants to go to the Invisited Isle, and I want to check out the slaughterhouse. And then as soon as I say the slaughterhouse, Travis looks out from the top of his newspaper and says, but what about pie?
I'd prefer pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, like, more likely he's grooming us to take his place after he dies, but whatever. Alright, so...
Oh yeah, give us the summary of the newspaper. Cliff notes.
Important stuff, like the Watchman died. That's actually relevant to the story. Einstein talks about some bullshit.
Einstein?
Yeah, it's 1929, Justin. He's writing his theory of relativity right now. It's big news.
So what you're saying is right now, currently, we know more than him.
Yes.
Cool. We're smarter than Einstein.
I mean, maybe. Einstein was pretty smart.
Yeah, he was very smart. What else do we got?
Looking for a new home for 2 girls, ages 8 and 10. There's some more of that weird printing on this newspaper. Altogether, it says, on the first one, it says, saw a missing child. There's a space there, which I assume means, is the L for child.
Yeah.
Do not follow the 6. Hell for those 6 times. That follows 6 times, is all one word. And my baby is 6 years old, taken.
I saw my Pathfinder players with an amazing trap today. Justin, what was it? Tiger Planet? I do look like the Ancient Aliens guy.
You do, kind of.
And then anything else?
There was a gentleman at the Arkham Cab Company, driver Mr. Hoppins gave him his ride for free that could be relevant. They found French Waters, a prolific business owner, like pissed drunk in the street. And there's an altercation between Elliot Cousin and Therese Morris. And Morris claimed that a monster attacked the other woman.
I also noticed there's a bit of foreshadowing in this one.
Yeah.
There's men wanted for a dangerous cold journey. It's probably, called like down south.
In the first one, there was a thing about Antarctica eaters.
They found a bunch.
And there's also the King Cometh
Stuff.
coming in the play. Miss P. Larry, congrats to Miss P. Larry for winning 2 tickets. Performance will be held August 18th. I wouldn't be surprised if she's dead in the next one.
What I was looking up was whether that related to the King in Yellow, and that is a future encounter.
Yes, that's the name of the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, the King Cometh. Yep.
I was like, okay.
Yep. That's amazing,
That's
Tiger
always a
Planet.
good one.
So we really don't have much information on the Orin Library, or the murder there, like with regards to specific people and stuff.
Yeah. So there's...
I think we should go check out like Therese Morris.
Which one's that one?
That's the lady who claims that monster attacked the other woman.
Yeah. There's also then Corbett and Pasquale, which are just probably 2 safe things to lead us on our way.
Yeah.
Right. So the lady was attacked by the monster in here. August 8th. There's also someone built a spaceship.
Yeah. Or they're building a spaceship or whatever. Morris.
Woman arrested.
That means she must be at the jail then.
Yeah. Yeah, she's at the jail. She's being held at the local jail awaiting.
That's good.
Yeah. You go, Bryn, if you want to peruse it all too.
None of these names are in here.
No? So she's probably be in the jail then, right?
Yeah, like Morris is.
Yeah.
And Cousin's not in here.
Which one's that's the one that was
That's
attacked?
the one that was attacked.
Cool.
There's an Elliot W
That one.
and an Elliot T, which like
Yeah.
only has one L.
I think if we would check the jail for that.
Yep.
Or we could just ignore that for a bit and keep that in the back burner.
Yeah, I think we should probably go with the safe guess is go see Pascal or Corbett first.
I felt like, which one's like, do you think the better one though? Because Corbett is doing the autopsy, right? Like that's what he does. Corbett's on here, right? Criminologist, forensic expertise, and Pascal is the occultist. So maybe we go to we can go to the Pasquale first.
Yeah.
And get like his occult opinion.
Yeah. Can I see the opening passage again, real quick?
Yeah. It starts over here.
Chat wants you to explain theory of relativity.
Oh yeah,
While
there's three
doing this.
things. Three things. They fly around. One of them's faster than the other, and then science blows up, and there you go. Relativity. I'm accurate.
What's special relativity?
Special relativity? Oh, then there's four things, and one of them is a bit
Okay.
quicker than the other. Yeah. Okay. So, we have a dead night watchman. No skin or no blood. That sucks.
Yeah, that sounds like bad times for him.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, like Pascal or Corbett. Probably
Cool.
Pascal first.
Yeah, Bryn, what do you think? Should we go to the scientist or the occultist first?
Science.
Alternatively, we could go. I mean, Corbett will probably tell us who he is, but that's probably irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like one of them will lead us into the direction of, like, you know, oh, you're dealing with this ancient one of the week, right?
Yeah.
I would rather go to the occultist, but I feel like we're going to have to visit them both.
Yeah, probably. Let's do the occultist first.
Sure.
Can I say that real quick, bro?
He is in L4.
Okay. The altercation between the two women also happened on the
Invisited
Invisited
Isle. Yeah. All right, here we go.
So
We're
that could have been a dark young. Just
It's
a
funny,
little-
it just keeps it going. All right, first location, L4, Pascal Fenton's home. For as many times as you've seen the interior of Pascal Fenton's home, it never fails to disturb you and surprise you. Each cabinet and
once.
shelf overflows with curios from long-forgotten civilizations. Most of these trinkets are obviously counterfeit, but a few seem unnervingly genuine. Pascal points you to an old soft chair that exhales dust as you sit. Did Armitage send you? Has he finally admitted that the old Fenton might know a thing or two? Behold, all things are possible. Pascal laughs sarcastically. I've forgotten more about the unseen world than that little mouse will ever know. I am surprised you have so long avoided becoming my student. Now tell me, how may I help you? Given Pasquale's fascination with the grotesque, you don't spare any of the details of the watchman's death. After you finish the story, the old occultist thinks silently. Tricky, he eventually concludes. There's a cult in the Orient that ritually skins their victims if they are making an incursion into the Western world. Well, I dread to consider what that could mean. Some Turkish immigrants get together for chess at the desolate highway cafe. It might be worth asking them about the Brothers of the Skin. Oh, that's a gross name. You finish taking notes and are about to leave when Pascal stops you. However, that doesn't take into the account the loss of blood nor the susceptibility to Armitage's privated magical warding. Those elements suggest a vampire. Fire vampire? Question mark?
Is there any other kind? I mean, there's also normal
Star
vampires.
vampires.
Star
Star
vampires.
vampires. There's lots of different kinds.
You stare at Pascal once.
Star vampire.
Oh shit, they're going to space.
Sponsor, yeah. You stare at Pascal, wondering if he's using you to tease Armitage. A vampire, like in the movie? Exactly. It drinks blood and it fears religious symbols, as well as basic protections like garlic and silver. By the way, did you see that vampire film at the Telenews? The projectionist there is probably well informed on the subject.
Sorry, who?
Projectionist at Telenews. Telenews.
Oh, projectionist at Telenews.
Yeah. Pascal strokes his chin. I can't imagine why a vampire would remove a subject's skin. I suspect that's all I can tell you. Good luck. So I feel like going to the telefilm or the Turkish thing is a dead end. Maybe the telefilm might be, but
Yeah, him naming the brothers of the skin feels a little too specific.
yeah.
He could just go the other place as well.
Yeah, go to Corbett, see what he says.
I'm not sure what he's gonna tell us though.
Yeah, maybe. There are only 2 leads right now, right? So we might as well exhaust both of them.
No, we go to the Invisible Island, check out the person, or the jail, and check out the woman who was attacked by a
Yeah.
monster, right?
Yeah,
That
but
could also be a vampire.
it could be a vampire, but right now it seems like another side quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, it's just another option.
See Xbox Mayor. Boom. Corbett?
Yeah, sure.
Where does he fucking live?
Oh, I don't know.
D45.
Yep.
Dr. Corbett is hunched over several photographs with his back to the door, and yet he uncannily knows that it's you entering his lab. What's fascinating about this case is the evidence we don't have. I don't just mean the corpse's skin and blood. He's always a jokester. Corbett turns around to look at you. If I were going to steal someone's skin, I'd bring a car if I had one, wouldn't you? I mean, where did it all go? That's the real mystery here. Skin is heavy and messy. We had rain and we had mud. It's the perfect setup to see tire tracks, but there's nothing. He points to a series of photographs at the outside of the library. You shrug. So he walked? He flew? I don't know, but I don't know. I know he didn't drive. Now, I'm not one to tell you how to do your job, but it occurs to me it's likely that your killer doesn't have a car, and if that's true, I bet he's been in a taxi in the last few days. Unless he flew, you add. Vampires? Spaceship.
There's a guy in the newspaper who wanted to thank the driver, Mr. Hoppin, for giving him a free ride when he didn't have money for it.
Yeah, one of our people in here, we actually have a cab driver. I remember him. I think there was a cab driver in here.
His first
Yeah, Arlo
name.
Hoppin, Arkham Yellow Cab Company,
What's his number?
D34.
Yeah, okay. The man's name was Seamus.
Seamus?
Yeah, his first name. The man who was transported.
Okay.
You want to go check that out?
The cabs? Or do we do the cabs or the... I would do the cabs over the person who was his passenger, right?
We don't know we can't find this pastor. We only have his first name.
Yeah. So then we would do the cab company.
Yeah.
The other alternative is going to the jail to try to talk to the woman, or going right to the invisited aisle. Right?
We could go talk to like this Waters guy who was drunk that night.
Yeah.
That seems kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
But no, it's like go check with the lady at the jail or go talk to the cab company.
Or we go to
Or like the two
telefilm.
telefilm or the cafe, yeah.
Yeah.
Telling
But I
us.
feel like now that there's no footprints and they're trying to do, like, there's the whole flying thing, I feel like vampires might be,
That's pretty reasonable.
yeah.
What are they gonna tell us about vampires though?
That's the thing, right? Like, I have no
Like
idea.
what are the guys at the cinema gonna tell us about that?
He's going to be like, oh, I saw fire vampires, rah! Oh,
I think we're better off
It
taking.
couldn't have been a fire vampire, Justin. It was raining.
it's true.
Yeah, wow.
Heat
Fire
wave.
vampires
Fire
suck.
vampires have 1 more health and 1 more
Fire
attack.
vampires suck in the rain.
They're awful. I mean, they're usually pretty bad. I think we should check out the cab company personally.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Bryn, what is your thoughts? Do you find
Sure.
anything in the newspaper?
Not really.
Okay.
D34.
Cab company? D34. Boom! Arlo shouts to you from across the garage. What's the rumpus, Seamus? His cheeriness seems immune to the drab weather and macabre headlines of the day. You cross the distance to meet him. Your cabbies have any strange fares lately? Every single day. Actually, my boys have been pretty happy lately. A lot of well-do types coming and going. Sebastian Lyman and his crowd, if you know what I mean. The Silver Twilight? What are they up to? I couldn't tell you, but I know they tip well. Something's got them in a whirl. Hey, if you aren't busy, why don't you help old Arlo shine his tires? Actually, Arlo, we're incredibly busy. So we can do Silver Twilight. That's what he points us to.
Yep.
It should be evening now. Boom.
Quebec, like didn't help. Or
Because
the
we
cab
noticed,
company.
like, it's not just that it's hyphenated like this, but that the second
It's
part is
a
a
different
different color. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that?
Yeah. It's kind of weird. I don't get it. The thing doesn't make sense to me.
Do you want to check out the Telemundo place or whatever it is?
I think no. I think the Silver Twilight Lodge is a much more
'Kay.
reputable.
I'm gonna go to Silver Twilight Lodge. I'm gonna go talk to the Lyman guy.
I think he is just at L18, isn't he? I think he is.
Yeah. L18.
L18. Silver Twilight Lodge. Boom.
Yeah, alright.
Day 2. We wake up in the morning. It's a good
But
time.
it's still Sunday.
It's always Sunday. Is that the newspaper for Sunday?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
We can go visit Carl Sanford at home. He probably wouldn't mind that.
Hey, Carl!
We want to know what you guys are up
Thursday.
to at the Silver Twilight Lodge.
You building an alien spaceship, Carl? You gonna try to go to space, Carl? Star
like-
vampire?
Oh my god, it's 5 in the morning. Why are you here?
If I say star vampire, does that tickle your fancy?
Does that mean anything to you?
Stepping into Sebastian Lyman's living room, you seem to have interrupted a conversation between Lyman and two sinister-looking men seated across from him. He waits for you to join him by the fireplace. I don't have much time to speak to you, I'm afraid, but I have an answer to your question. He points at the portrait of the dour-faced man that hangs above the mantel.
Carl Sanford.
You're wondering about the identity of this man? You've never given the portrait any thought, and certainly have never asked Sebastian about it, but you play along. I was? He was a Scotsman from the clan of MacNaught. Of course, Naught has turned to Knight these days. That's a riddle. Lyman smiles inscrutably. Ah, you say, he obviously can't talk directly. I'm afraid I must return to my current business. You should find me later, Lyman winks. We can speak again back at French Hill, and remember to bring that 64 Chateau Lafitte Rothschild you've been promising me. Got it? The 64. You nod and are not sure his meaning. Lyman must want to meet you in a more private place. So,
What's number 64?
we have a 64 in U. We have a 64 in F. So, here, Naught has turned to Knight.
Like N-A-U-G-H-T?
Yes. Yeah, and then Knight is in soul, like soldier.
Yeah.
And then we can speak again back at French Hill. So is the French L?
You said 64?
64. Where's French Hill District on the front of the directory?
It's the purples.
These ones? So then would it be F64 if you want to
Yeah.
meet us there?
Let's do it.
What is F60? Oh, you.
Is that really what you want me to look up, Justin?
No. Well, what's his house? Does he have? No, his house was the F8. The
L18.
Yeah, L18. Lich Street. The spooky, scary Lich Street. Just gonna read through that thing one more time. That's Chateau Lafitte Rothschild. Is there any Rothschild in the directory?
No.
What about McKnight? Something like that.
There is a McKnight.
There's a McKnight?
Yep.
Did they have a house?
Yeah.
What
It's
is it?
F64.
There we go.
Good.
There we're going. F64 then.
I feel like an EX. I even looked that up before I started looking for F64 while
Oh,
you were
really?
reading that.
Oh yeah. All right, cool. F64.
God damn it.
Let's do it. Boom. All right, come in quickly, Lyman implores you. Once you're inside, he closes the door and locks it. I'm glad you took my meaning. Miss is currently out of town and I need a way to speak to you without being observed. Lyman takes a cautious glance at the curtained windows. Right now, every lodge member is under extreme scrutiny. Satisfied that you aren't being observed, he sits down. First of all, the Orn wasn't the only library this intruder tried to break into last night. Before going to Miskatonic, this would-be thief visited the lodge's private library and was similarly turned back by our protections. Only members of the Order know this library. You have a traitor in your ranks, you ask? Lyman smiles grimly. Our oaths of loyalty are very, shall we say, compelling. I cannot imagine any of our living members betraying the secret. Could someone who's supposedly dead betray you? Someone dead did betray us, he responds. Well, that's a weird. He wasn't dead at the time, however. In 1793, Jedediah Cahill's son snuck into the big empty house across from the old wooded graveyard. People call it the Unnameable.
The Unnameable.
The Unnameable. At any rate, it left the boy catatonic. The father was desperate to save his son. He joined our order, hoping to find a way to undo the damage. He stole an ancient, very powerful book from our library, thinking he can use it to preserve his son's life. I suppose it didn't work. You recall Armitage's words about telling the Watchman's parents about their son's death? Worse, says Lyman. When the abomination was discovered, Cahill was expelled from the order and the book was moved to a different city. In the wake of Jedediah's mistake, 8 people were found dead and flayed and bloodless. Vampire. Blamed for these murders, he was burned at the stake. Fire vampire. You can see Lyman getting nervous, but you have more questions before you leave. What is in this book that's so dangerous? Lyman puts his finger to his mouth, indicating a secret he can't tell. I can say it's an earlier version of a text Armitage has in his library. It makes sense that this thing would go to where our copy used to be first. It's a somewhat addictive text. Once a person of a particular obsessive temperament has been exposed to the book, he'll keep trying to regain it. Also, if he can't get the original, he'll make do with what he can. He may try to copy the text on the same medium as the original, human skin, but he'll never let it go. What happened to the son? Lyman shrugs. Noah? At the time, that wasn't the Order's concern. Now I'm hoping you can tell me. I need to leave now. I'll exit out the back door. Wait 10 minutes, then leave the same way you came in. Take requirement cards 1 and 2.
Do we get to look at them?
There's nothing. They're just basically keys that we now can have unique encounters in the future.
What was the guy's last name?
Cahill.
Cahill, yeah. Cahil. L. 2 L's. I'm the worst.
Like Cahill.
Yeah.
Well, the book thereafter was the Necronomicon.
Yep.
There's no Cahills.
Yeah, that was in 1793 that happened in.
Yeah, but he was looking for his son, right? Maybe there's a descendant in town.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I guess we go to the Unnameable. Right?
Yeah,
Or Armitage.
or Armitage. Or, what the fuck? There's some of our allies. There is a great source of information on all matters historical. Well versed in folklore.
Well versed in folklore.
Nicholas Staltenstall is the keeper of various legal documents such as birth, marriage, and death certificates. Dorothy Davis has knowledge on family history in the Arkham Historical Society.
Those are all options.
Mm-hmm.
The obvious one is the Unnameable.
I'm just worried that if we go in there, we're going to see something we don't want to see. Or we'll see something perfect. That's okay. Oh, the Unnameable house is M3.
Yep.
There. They said it was across from the old wooded graveyard. But
not really.
Whatever.
no.
And it's technically across the street from it.
Yeah, maybe this is the whole thing is a graveyard, but this is just Hangman's Hill in the graveyard.
It's probably a specific place there. Man, that's the laziest naming. Old wooded graveyard. It's a graveyard. Like, when did it stop being the
They could have
wooded?
just said graveyard.
Yeah, when did it stop being the wooded graveyard though? When did it become the old wooded graveyard?
Mm-hmm.
I think the family history or the legal document sounds like a good lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like already this one is less obvious than the last one, which I guess is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either the family history or death certificates, because
Let's do. Sorry, can I see in car?
yeah, of course. Yeah, this one's a pretty big one. It was F-64. I look at this map like it's gonna awaken something in me, but it's just
It's just numbers and boxes.
yeah. But the shapes will tell a story. Maybe I'll look at the newspaper because that might actually.
Other one.
I know. I'm just looking through the old one too. Can I steal the directory from you? Down. Downey. RJ.
I have those written down, like
Yeah.
what potential things there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we go on the unnameable, or the unnameable.
Seems spooky scary in there. And we're gonna get in and a gate's gonna open, and then we're gonna be in the Dreamlands. Or Ryla, worst case scenario.
Yeah, it'd be much worse. What do you guys think for I don't see like a ton of difference between the legal, like what can we get from the family historian?
Yeah, just to say like, cause like,
I mean, like, okay, so the legal document guy will tell us like if he's still alive or if he's dead or whatever, if he has
Yes.
children here.
yeah,
Whereas the family historian's more likely to tell us like if they moved
yeah,
or like where they live now, if they're here.
yeah,
If they do exist under a different name,
yeah,
they
That
might
could
both
also-
be helpful for that.
yeah.
If they had descendants, like maybe had a daughter and she got married off.
The other thing I'm worried about is that potentially one of these could just be like they could both just be dead ends, and we could just be like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's why they're there. Ooh, baseball on Saturday. The Arkham Speed Boys are going against the Dunwich Whippoorwills. Woot, 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 woot.
I think if we don't want to go to either one of those, then we just go to the unnameable because we're pretty sure something will happen.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
is fair.
But like the only thing we know that happened there is this kid got like
Went crazy.
yeah, and his father resorted to using the Necronomicon to
We
fix
have,
him.
like, yeah, we have no reason to go there to also go crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like bad times.
Shadow.
Looking back, we could still go to the Highway Cafe. We could go visit Telenews. We could go ask Armitage about like if he knows anything about the Order's copy of the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
We resolved this one. There's also that drunk guy. There's also, we go to the Invisile or the jail and check out that lady got attacked by a monster.
Yeah. That's a lead that we haven't followed.
I think I'd like to go to the jail and listen to what she said happened.
I also
That
would,
could help us.
I would also be down with that, Just because
narrow down whether it's a vampire
we
or
can
not.
find out if there's anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, it's one of those things that any of these could lead to, like, a possibility or just dead end.
Yeah. Jail.
Go to the baseball game and sound suspicious. Anything with whippoorwills is suspicious.
D10 is courthouse and jail.
D10?
Is medio. Twitch solved the mission. That sounds like a mess.
Here we go. The guard brings Therese Morris into the visiting room. Therese is a young, petite woman who smiles defiantly as she slumps down in the chair across from you. Her cheek sports an ugly purple bruise. I assume you want to know what happened with Elliot on the Unvisited Isle? Unvisited. Ha! She gets our jokes. Kids from Miskatonic sneak out there all the time for their drunk orgies. Oh, that's what everybody says. I assume that's where Elliot got the idea. We took a rowboat over to the island and walked around the standing stones. We were having a nice time, but Elliot was drinking a lot. It's like he doesn't even care that it's illegal. I didn't drink anything, and yet I'm the one in jail. Anyways, he got drunk and started to get a little too grabby as far as I was concerned. I told him that nothing was going to happen until we were married, and well, that led to an argument, which led to a slap in my face. And boy, oh boy, did I see red when that happened. Boy, oh boy, I socked him right in the face and split his lip open, but that's it. That lawyer of his, Alonzo Ferdinand, says that I beat him half to death. I mean, that's ridiculous. When the police looked the next morning, they couldn't find any blood at all. She pauses, apparently reliving the moment in her mind. I couldn't actually see him that clearly. We just had a couple of flashlights. I saw the blood from his lip. I saw the blood from his lip fall to the ground, and the ground just soaked it up completely. Drank it like a thirsty desert drinks rain. She pulls herself out from the memory. So he passed out, and I left him face down in the dirt. I took the boat back to the shore and then reported what happened to the first policeman I found. The next morning, I'm the one who got arrested. You ask her, weren't you concerned about what was happening to the blood? Didn't that look strange to you? It looked just fine to me. Therese stands and nods to the guard that she's ready to return to her cell.
I guess we would check out the Unvisited Isle.
I think so.
We could also talk to What's Nuts' lawyer, but that feels useless.
That feels useless. He'll just be like, my client didn't do anything wrong.
Yep.
Did that fucker die, or was he just beaten?
He's not in the book, so...
Yeah. Yeah, just attacked.
He's probably in the hospital then.
Yeah, but I don't think we should talk to him.
I mean, like, he's pissed drunk. He was pass out drunk.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't remember anything. Oh, it was good to visit.
Yeah?
What's a stupid name for an island?
Well, I mean, like, it's not stupid until someone goes there.
Yeah, but this is like our second time going there alone.
Oh, okay.
Like...
The Unvisited Isle is a fetid blight on the Miskatonic River, a mass of rotting muck interrupted by cold, weathered stones. The rumor that this might be a romantic destination for Miskatonic students seems highly dubious. You thoroughly search the area for the island's standing stones, monuments raised by long-forgotten native engineers for some unknowable purpose. Disturbances in the mud provide ample evidence that people were here. In fact, it appears as if something quite large was pulled out of the ground. However, there is no sign of a struggle or blood loss. You spot a carved piece of wood poking out of the disturbed mud. A closer look reveals that it's a rotting stake that could have been carved a century or more ago, vampire. Your inspection is interrupted by the approach of a ragged-looking figure, an older man dressed humbly. Dylan, thank you so much for the cheer.
Oh, you missed.
Unfortunately, you missed. Dark days.
You need to try again.
Sorry to startle you, strangers, he says. I'm just out here looking for treasures like you. Sometimes you come across odds and ends worth a little cash. Found a coin from 1793 one time. Have you seen anything? Yeah.
Is that the same year as...
Yeah, close to. It was like late.
It was like 1779 or something.
Yeah, late 1700s. Have you seen anything strange out here recently, you ask? One night a week or so ago, I bumped into a drifter. His clothes were sucked through with this muck and he looked sick. I reckon he must have been in trouble with the law or some such. He asked me for a ride to the shore in my boat and I said yes. Then as soon as we're in the water, he began having fits and howling. I thought he was going to die right there. We get to the shore and I ran to find someone to help. By the time I got back, he was gone. That seemed pretty strange to my way of thinking. You thank the man and leave.
Vampire. Not allowed to cross running water.
No, it's true. Vampire. We have had 6?
Yeah.
Oh,
I got 6.
okay, cool. Then we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Whew. So, thoughts on historians now?
Why are you both looking at me?
Oh, no, what are you reading?
Stuff. I thought I read something about a homeless man who looked like shit. So those are your picks for the Grammys or the Oscars.
Yeah, I don't know what that book was. I just found it. What a tangled web we weave.
That's right. Bayfriars was full of homeless people.
Yeah.
But,
I think a local historian seems like not a bad choice.
Yep.
I would agree with this.
what's her name?
Okay, so there's Professor Robinson, who's a great source of information on all matters historical. There's also Dorothy Davis, who has the family history. And then there's Nicholas Stultenstall, who has the legal documents.
What are we looking to get out of this?
I mean, I feel like it's this fucking kid, right?
Yeah, kind of. What, the Elliot guy?
No, the Noah, the
Oh,
vampire.
yeah.
The vampire. Yeah, because like, what are we hoping to learn? We want to learn something because this is now the second thing that's pointed to the late 1700s, right? It's like the 100th thing that's pointed to a vampire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Waiting to see if it's of the fire variety.
It's not good for a vampire.
It was raining.
It's just, I'm not.
There's gonna be a regular vampire. They're much scarier.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Alright.
You ever fought one?
In the rain.
Yeah. It's not gonna be like Noah though. I guess it could be, but like he's supposed to be crazy.
Yeah, but.
He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could go ask about like death certificates. That might be useful. Figure out if if there's a record of him dying.
Yeah, but in order for him to be a vampire, there has to be.
Yeah.
Because his dad.
Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, like his dad was the one who was burned at the stake,
Yeah.
right? Because he did treason to the Silver Twilight Lodge.
It might point us towards where he's actually I mean, like he probably is. But confirm that he's a vampire if they list like the way he was killed.
Yeah.
Like we could go see historic events, but what would we get from him?
The Robinson, just an oral history should be like, oh yeah, 1790 was an excellent time for Arkham. You know?
I mean, like
Arkin's
oral
always
history
been
can
a
also
shithole.
be like folklore and
Yeah,
stuff.
she does have folklore. She does have
I think we should go
folklore.
talk to her.
There's also
then.
the family history one.
If there's a legend about a vampire going around murdering people, she'd
She
probably
might
be the
know.
one who knows stuff about that.
Yeah. That's a good point. C17? Should we try it out?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Morning, day 3, C17.
You like have to make decisions
Daylight?
sometimes.
Oh.
So close.
Boom! We got a C17. Clearly frustrated, Professor Robinson pounds her fist on one of the many file folders stacked on her desks. She grimaces when she sees you. I am so sorry. Please tell Professor Armitage I am so sorry. Sorry about what? You shut her office door behind you. This whole thing with she shudders. The flesh and blood. It has happened before. I can't recall when. There's over 200 years of recorded history on Arkham. She solemnly flips through the papers. I need something to jog my memory, something that can narrow it down just a little bit.
We got things.
If you have requirement record 1, proceed to page 30 and read entry 1.
We did it.
Holy shit, this is long.
Do you want a break?
Nah, it's good. Oh, it's not as long as I thought. This tube
Okay.
is high over here. You share what you've learned, and Professor Robinson shouts, "Of course! 1793, the Cahills." She throws open a filing cabinet and flips through her immense collection of notes. According to the legend, Jedediah Cahill's son struck strange faces in the upstairs windows of the large house across from the old wooded graveyard. You mean the unnameable? You inquire. So called because of a story written by Randolph Carter, she explains. It's owned by the city now. One day the son snuck in to investigate. Carter's story describes some sort of nonsense about an incomprehensible horror inside, if you like that sort of thing.
Surprise.
Classic Arkham horror. However, it's a historical fact that Jedediah found his son screaming uncontrollably. Eventually, the poor boy lapsed into a catatonic state. The whole thing left Jedediah devastated. He was a very religious man, a founding member of the First Baptist Church, but he abandoned his faith and began trying all kinds of screwball things to help his son recover. After the boy died, he buried him on the unvisited isle. Not only did Jedediah return to religion, he became a zealot, way off the deep end. It is written that Jedediah was reproducing a sacred text onto human skin. Wait. She runs her finger across her notes and reads a particular passage aloud. The elder Cahill was accused of murdering 8 people. He took both the skin and the blood of his victims. Just before they burned him at the stake, Jedediah was quoting this saying, "My soul is at peace, I have atoned, and I know that God will understand what I have done. My flesh, my blood, this thing now lies where it cannot return." The professor hands you her notes. If you haven't been already, you might want to check with Dorothy Davis over at the Historical Society, she says. Jedediah's wife was pregnant when her husband was burned for his crimes.
Let's do that.
I agree. So,
Also, it is totally his son.
yes. The blood probably could have
Fed.
woken him up. Like,
Maybe, yeah.
maybe? I don't know how vampires work. The guy at the Film Society probably does, though. But we're not going to go talk to him. He's a waste of time. Vampires are great. Oh, there's a scary picture of a vampire on this page. All right, Dorothy. Where does she live? Let me just look that up. Dorothy is L1. You bump into Dorothy Davis as she's exiting the building and inadvertently knock several files to the ground. That was my fault, she says, picking up the fallen items. I've got so much to do, I'm not even watching where I'm going. You help her pick up her things. What's the rush? I need to run by the First Baptist Church. Have you ever been? They have some amazing records, some of the oldest in the city. Then I'm off to see the new items on display at the Pickering House. History is alive and well in Arkham. Perhaps we can talk another time. Her papers collected, she walks to the street and hails a taxi.
That was a waste of time.
Yep.
Let's go to the First Baptist Church.
I would agree we have 2 things pointing there. Yeah, just find where that motherfucker is.
F15.
This weathered old First Baptist church doesn't keep the chill out. The pastor walks toward you wearing his coat. He says, "Is there something I can help you with? If you just want to visit, stay as long as you like. I was about to do a little grocery shopping. If you have requirement card 2, proceed to page 30 and read entry 2.
Sick.
The pastor seems to recognize the name Cahill. That's a very old name. Very well. Groceries can wait. Let's go look through our records. He guides you to the records room in the church's basement. Stacks of wooden boxes and yellowed paper sits on row after row of tall shelves. He guides you to the furthest corner of the room and pulls back the lid of a weathered crate. A dank smell emerges. These are very delicate documents, he tells you, so treat them gently. Do you know where they lived? You tell them they live next door to the unnameable. He looks at the documents and finds the name Cahill. Jedediah Cahill left the church in 1793 and was accused of several monstrous murders. For his crimes, he was burned at the stake. Afterwards, his wife Rebecca changed her last name to Sheffield and moved to Boston with her infant daughter. So Sheffield. The pastor reacts when he sees the name. Rebecca Sheffield? My word, it must be the same person. A patron from Boston recently made a donation to the Pickering House in the name of her ancestors who lived in Arkham. The ancestor's name was Rebecca Sheffield. Do you know the name of this patron, you ask? Rachel Cawthon. So, Cauthon. She's in town now visiting the Pickering House. You thank the pastor for his help and make your way back out into the cold.
I guess we're going to the Pickering House.
I would also agree we're going to the Pickering House.
This one's very linear.
Yeah.
E1.
It took us a while to find it, but
Yeah.
this is a thread that...
Bear line in a dead end.
Yep. We're not going to be happy with this one.
Good.
Several historic pieces of furniture and art have attracted a crowd of visitors to the Pickering House. A new donor from Boston recently made a contribution to the exhibition. This donor, an older woman named Rachel Cawthon, is happy to speak to you about her ancestors who hailed from Arkham. Rebecca Cahill and her husband used to live on Boundary Street across from the old wooded graveyard. They were right next door to the notorious unnameable house mentioned in Randolph Carter's novel. The Cahill's house is now gone, but I believe some apartments were built on the old foundation. After her husband died, Rebecca moved to Boston with her daughter. Take requirement card 2.
Ugh.
Okay. We made some progress.
Should go to Boston.
Yeah. We should. Train station.
Train station. Yeah.
So we can go on the unnameable.
Yeah.
What else do we know?
Rachel.
We have.
Was she there? Sorry, was she there?
Yeah, she was the one we just
Okay.
talked to.
Yeah.
M67? What's M67?
That's their old house.
That's the old house, the apartment complex? Yeah.
Like if the foundations are still there, we might find something.
But who lives there now? Alexander M.
Alexander?
Yep. Last name's Alexander. We don't know anyone whose first name might be M that might be relevant. I don't think.
So, he woke up here. Like, let's just kind of like assume let's kind of just talk about what we know. The fucker woke up here.
Mm-hmm. He attacked the guy.
He attacked the guy
And he took the boat.
to here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he probably made his way to the Silver Twilight Lodge to get the book. But why does he want the book?
Don't know.
Because, like, essentially probably what happened was he went to go find the books, but because he could get neither of them, he was like, fuck it, I'll make my own, right? Because that's what his dad did, right?
Yeah. What was the resolution on that one being attacked in the Uptown Park for the last one?
It's just a statement of like, you feel scary, the trees are moving in a weird way, and then it just said that's it.
Mm.
But it was in the final scoring that we lost points for going slightly insane. If we could go to the unnameable and just assume.
That sounds like bad times.
Yeah, what are other leads? So.
There was that merchant guy who was drunk. That could be relevant. Probably not, but. Talk to these people. We go talk to the guy's lawyer. It's pretty irrelevant. There's the Highway Cafe and the Rose of Skin. I don't think we go to Telenews because they're just going to tell us
They're going to tell us about
stereotypical
vampires.
things about vampires.
Can't cross running water.
Yeah.
Steaks. M67.
There's just some, like, yeah, we might as well go there. We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations left to go to. Because, like, we should think like Armitage, because he just kind of like, what would Mitchell do? What would Mitchell do?
oh no.
Because, like, trying to just figure out what this guy wants. Like, why does he want the Necronomicon? Is probably, like, because, like, maybe someone's fucking buried in the graveyard, right? That
Maybe.
he's trying to bring back from the dead.
Could be trying to revive his dad.
Could be trying to revive his dad.
Legacy Unnameable or 67, I guess.
Yeah. I think M67 would be the one I'd prefer to go to over the Unnameable, but I don't know what we'd
I
find
do feel
there,
like the
right?
Unnamable's a
Well,
trap.
like if it's built on the foundations of the old house, right?
Mhm.
There might be something in the basement that the current owner doesn't know about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do M67.
Sure. It's good to show.
Also, like where he used to live, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shot in the dark, but
We gotta take it right now. We gotta find another good lead, right?
I mean, like, other good leads in Unnameable, that one sounds shitty.
I agree. Oh, there is one. What time do we arrive at this place on? Afternoon?
Afternoon.
If you arrive during the afternoon, read entry 10 on page 30. Otherwise, we would have had to... So also time now matters when you go to things.
Great.
Entry 10. The tenants of the Nathaniel Wingate Peasley apartments tend to be older, and according to the landlord, they are prone to complain about problems that only exist in their imaginations. Is this the right fucking one I'm reading? 167, read entry 10. Okay. They're deaf as posts, but they tell me they hear noises all through the night, and of course it's always too cold for them. There's quite a chill, you point out. To you, it seems even colder here than it is outside in the rain. That's just recently, he tells you. I need to take a look at the furnace, but this rain has made the door to the basement swell up, and I can't get the thing open. The landlord shows you the door he means, and you make several unsuccessful attempts to force it open. You'll need a crowbar to get to the basement. You ask, how old is this building? Coming up 50 years, I reckon. I've been here 20, and some of the old timers remember before it was here. They say it's built on top of the foundation of an older house. You know, these folks sometimes remember things a little fuzzy, so take it with a grain of salt.
No, we knew that already.
Yeah. We can come back at nighttime.
We get a different one.
Yeah.
Did we get something different if we had a crowbar?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
Okay.
Do we just want to come back at night?
It would be the next one. It could just
Just
be,
stay
but I
here.
mean, I feel like this is once again the only lead we have. So
Yeah.
yeah. Read 11. Whoopsie.
Fat is folly.
Huh. Oh, dear. The front door of the Nathaniel Wingate Pleasley apartment is wide open. You enter without hesitation as if the door was left open for you. A quiet voice beckons from down the hall. Here. As you proceed, you see the door to the basement standing open. Stepping through the doorway, you find the lights don't work and your flashlight's battery has died. Undaunted, you continue.
Why?
You walk down the steps in pitch blackness, unafraid. With each step down, the darkness thickens. Here, calls a voice again, beckoning you further into the basement. Soon you're in a vast empty wall of shadow. Everything fades. You hear distant sounds. It's a familiar voice. You recognize Professor Armitage shouting your name. There's a sudden sharp pain and you find yourself on the floor of Armitage's offices among the shards of a broken vase. I apologize, my friend, but you seem to have been in the thrall of a malicious force calling you into that basement. If I hadn't taken action, I fear we may not have seen you again. As you sit up, your head throbs with pain. Sunlight pours into the office window. You groan, knowing that precious hours have been lost. Advance 1 additional space. So the vampire's in the basement.
We know that.
We know that.
As we talk to Armitage, then he's the one who will...
I don't think he'll tell us anything. He'll just be like, use your brains.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, so...
You just go the unnameable.
Or we just, like, call it. And we just try to, like... Because I feel like I know what's happening.
Yeah, like, what else are we going to accomplish? We don't have any leads, really.
Yeah. Because I feel like he's attempting to... He skinned the guy because he's trying to make the Necronomicon of his own. I assume to summon someone in his family. Right?
That makes sense.
We could... I mean, and then we could keep it as it is and maybe just, like, try to get a good score because of it. Do we have any other leads besides the unnameable?
Just like random garbage from the newspaper, really.
Yeah.
There's the guy's lawyer, there's the drunk businessman, there's the cafe.
What are your thoughts, Bryn?
The cafe's probably just too old to be relevant now, though.
I would agree.
That's really about it. Yeah, let's call it then.
Yeah. All right.
Don't think there's much else to discover.
Let's call it. All right. Well, for this one, we will write down the questions. Okay.
Write down the questions?
Like, we'll write down the answers.
Oh, okay.
Here, let me just give me this so I don't accidentally peruse the other side. So, what kind of creature killed the Night Watchman? Vampire. What was the creature's name? Noah Cahill?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who is Jedediah Cahill's living descendant currently in Arkham? Fuck, what was her name? Rebecca?
It's like Rachel Cawthorn?
Yes.
Coffin?
Yeah.
Rachel, whatever. Rachel C.
Where can the creature be found during the day?
In the basement.
Basement of his old house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is the creature there? Because he's a vampire?
That's where he used to live.
He used to live. Home.
Yeah.
Old home plus vampire.
He lived.
Where did the creature take the skin of its victims?
To the basement.
I'd imagine. Or the unnameable.
Like,
It might be in the unnameable.
Could be unnameable.
it seems as good a guess as any.
I would wait.
We have no real idea.
Yeah, and then I feel like if we went to the unnameable, we would have found the skin and been like,
Yeah, okay.
"Ooh!"
That's gross.
What is the creature doing with the skin? Building a Necronomicon?
Yeah.
Whose blood revived the creature? That guy. Edward, or what was his name?
Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot Cousin, I think his name was.
21
Yeah.
Sewer, thank you so much for the cheer. I think that's Ben, right?
That is Ben.
Where did Jedediah Cahill bury his son? Unvisited Isle?
Yeah.
Visited because clearly people have been going there since the 1700s.
Why did he bury him there?
because he was a vampire.
He's a
and he
fucking
couldn't cross the
vampire.
river, I think.
Yeah.
Vampires can't cross water.
Yep.
Right? Like that's a
Yep.
vampire.
Are we almost done? I'm running out of space.
Yeah, we have one more.
Okay.
What caused Jedediah Cahill's son to fall into a catatonic state? The unnameable.
Whoever
Like,
was there.
Unspeakable horror.
So probably just vampire. Actually, probably vampires in the unnameable even.
Maybe.
Right.
Unspeakable horrors, because that's what it told us.
Yeah.
/ vampires. Those are unspeakable horrors.
Okay.
Alright, let's do these. What kind of creatures killed the night watchman? Vampire, 2 points.
Sweet. If it is not a vampire, like,
like,
fuck.
It's just like Cthulhu.
What?
What was the creature's name? Noah Cahill, 3 points. Who is Jedediah Cahill's living descendant? Rachel Cawthon, 3 points. Where can the creature be found during the day? In the basement, 2 points. Why is the creature there? They were built on the site where its home used to be, 2 points. Where did the creature take the skin of its victim? To the basement of the unnameable, 3 points.
I have basement and unnameable written down.
I think for that one we
I
actually
have
said unnameable. So
unnameable
yeah,
written down.
that's
So
3
it's
points.
number 6, right?
Yeah, that's unnameable. 3 points, right?
Yep. Guys, we got 100%. What is the creature doing with the skin? Using its pages for a book, 5 points.
5 points.
Yeah. Whose blood revived the creature? Elliot, 2 points. Where did Jedediah bury his son? On the unvisited isle.
How many points?
Oh, 3, sorry. Why did he bury him there? Vampires can't cross running water, 2 points. What caused Jedediah Cahill's son to fall into a catatonic state? The unnameable, 3 points. If you travel to Western Dorm, the Unnameable, or Nathaniel Wingate Peasley Apartments at night, take 1 point of penalty for sanity damage. Because we encountered a vampire. Count the number of locations you visited, and deduct 1 point for every location beyond 10. Armitage will be able to answer all the questions by visiting 10 locations.
So -2.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we visited M67 twice, which I assume counts.
Yes, it's each location that's on our list.
And like 13, like the 13th one was the one the time.
So
we
12,
lost, but
so
we didn't visit another
27.
location.
27 points. 13 points, you win. 19 points, you're 19 plus. You are indeed a master detective. Armitage has a great faith in you, but our more difficult challenges lie ahead. Yeah, we fucking destroyed that one.
Yeah.
Now that made me realize it's not about solving what's happening. It's just about figuring it out, right?
Getting information.
Armitage. He went to the unnameable too.
Asshole.
Asshole.
We figured that out. We didn't have to go there.
Yeah,
So
I
he
mean,
went.
like, we didn't have to go see Dorothy, although she gave us the pass there.
Yeah.
But also that one also gave us the pastor because we had the Baptist church. So he went Robinson, who we visited. He went to Pascal, Herbert, Arlo, Sebastian, S64.
Don't talk to Pascal. He's useless.
He's like, Pascal, I need you.
I need your help.
It's like the first thing we've done both games. Like,
Nicholas Saltonstall, who we did visit? I don't think we did. The Unnameable in the Pickering House. So, in Armitage's study, a fire crackles invitingly in the fireplace, and you allow yourself to enjoy the simple pleasure, despite the object sitting on a stand between you and your mentor, the Necronomicon, the strange book that was so central to this case. You can feel its power, its hunger for blood and destruction. Flesh and blood, your mentor says into the quiet. Back in 1793, there was nothing. Jedediah Cahill wouldn't do to try to save his son. How noble, how ruinous. It's fortunate that Mr. Lyman was willing to share what the Order knew about the Cahills and their history. The knight lives in the square between the tower and the church, or rather the rook and the bishop. Okay, whatever you say, Armitage. After Noah Cahill's encounter with the Unnameable left the child unresponsive, Jedediah joined the Order and stole their copy of the Necronomicon. It is said that the text must be written on human flesh. Using this book, Jedediah marshaled dark forces to restore the boy. The results were monstrous. The boy rose again as a vampire. Hungry for blood as well as an overwhelming compulsion to possess the book that had birthed him, however, the Order had reclaimed their property and moved it, so the creature began to make his own book using the skins of his victims for the pages. Mob justice blamed Jedediah and burned him at the stake, but not before the elder Cahill had managed to put an end to his son's reign of terror. But Noah's sleep was not to be eternal. The monster returned after 150 years to resume its terrible work. By day, it slept in the basement of the Nathaniel Peasley apartments, where its home had once been. By night, it took its victims' skins to the unnameable and tried to fashion them into the pages of its own book. The sun has risen, you interject. So it has. Armitage stands and collects the crowbar and axe that was leaning against his chair. Decapitating this beast will be a bit of grim business, but it's pleasant to think about Rachel Cahoon, a descendant of the Cahills. I'm given to understand she has 7 grandchildren in Boston. The two of you stand in silence for a moment. Family can be good, you say. Indeed, Armitage points to the Necronomicon. Let's return its proper home and get on with our task. Roll for encounter dice. Horror check.
Fail, die.
Yeah.
Lose the
Good.
game.
Cool.
It's 10:15. The
Yeah.
last one took us about 45 minutes.
Yeah. I
You wanna
mean,
try and push out 1/3 one? We have a fair number of viewers.
it is... I'm going to just stop the recording first.